Bill Gibbons, head coach for Holy Cross's women's basketball team, has gone on voluntary paid leave after allegations and a lawsuit by former player Ashley Cooper have accused the coach of both physical and emotional abuse. 20-year-old Cooper said he grabbed her and on a few occasions struck her. She also said the school went out of its way to keep the abuse a secret. According to the suit, the legal action comes, quote, not only on her own behalf, but also on behalf of all the women athletes who are abused by their coaches under the grossly offensive rationale that the abusive behavior is motivational. Joining me to discuss and contextualize this a bit more is author of the forthcoming book, Recover, Stop Thinking Like an Addict, psychologist Dr. Stanton Peele. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
We hear about these stories so often, and it seems like they're cropping up more and more. And, you know, one sort of common thread that we're hearing is that the school is working to cover these things up before the abuse gets out. How common is this idea of sort of complacency or cover-up?
It's so common, you might almost say it's the normal human way of doing things. People are always going to gather in a circle and circle their wagons when their institution is attacked. And in any situation, the most powerful people are always going to dominate. And that starts with the coach, and then the administration is going to be most concerned to protect him and their athletic program. Of course, the worst example of that was Penn State, where it turned the athletic director and the president of the university were implicated. They were fired, and then they are indicted and charged with criminal offenses.
When it comes to the case of the Penn State abuse scandal, that was a really extreme version of this, but things like emotional and physical abuse are happening on a more daily basis than I think people are realizing. And the player said in the piece that she stopped loving the sport after sort of dealing with this. What kind of repercussions can something like emotional and physical abuse within a sport actually have on you?
Well, any kind of abuse obviously is no good. And when you feel that somebody is in a position of protecting and instructing you when they abuse you, we know that to be a particularly horrible and traumatizing experience with professors, with priests. By the way, let's take a little bit of a leap and look at the recent situation where the two girls harassed another girl until she committed suicide. But the reason I draw that connection is because it was on the internet. It was widely known, and yet nobody stepped in. And I just draw a parallel in this situation to the university failing to step in, even though repeated incidents of this had been reported to them. So I don't think that these are any more common, but what we're learning is how standard they are and how often they're covered up and how poor we seem to be at protecting children, even though we claim, or college students, even though we claim that's such a crucial value in our society.